Hey y'all, Jamie here. Proud 55-year-old trans woman from New Orleans. So, where last I left off? Well, I was at Le Roundup at 819 St. Louis Street in the French Quarter in New Orleans, Louisiana, and the guy I had been in love with madly and secretly, well, not so secretly, for years, Bob Jackson, had his tongue down my throat after recently having gotten out of prison. Yeah. So, yesterday I said if you wanted to know how it happened, listen. He was seeing this girl named Kimberly. Usually, he was with his old lady named Lisa Jackson. From his name, Lisa Jackson. Yeah, she had changed her name to his last name and everything. In those days, they couldn't get legally married. Anyway, so Bob and Lisa were on the outs. Bob and Kimberly were seeing each other. Kimberly took me to a roundup even when I warned her not to. And I got up when I was having a drink. I got up and I went to the bathroom, right? I came out of the bathroom. Kimberly was talking to my other friend Candy Slice up by the front door of the bar. And I came to the back corner of the bar, and Bob was waiting there like a spider, waiting like a spider for the fly. And there I was flying right into the web, honey. So, yeah, I did. He caught me. He stopped me with his arm and said, "Hey, you going to ignore me?" And I was like, "What am I supposed to say to you?" He said, "Jamie, come on, you're going to be like that." And I said, "Bob, come on, are you going to be like that?" I said, "You're here with somebody else. Like, we're not together. You're here with somebody else. I'm with Mickey now." And he grabbed me, he pinned me against the bar, and he shoved his tongue down my throat. And that's how we got to where I left off yesterday. I had his tongue down my throat, and I immediately gave in to the kiss. I relaxed and opened up to it, and I let him in, honey. And when we came up for air, we looked down the bar, and there's Kimberly and Candy looking at us like we've lost our goddamn minds, right? So me and Bob just kind of like, I kind of did the girl, I tried to warn you thing to Kimberly kind of thing. And she tried to laugh it off. Like she tried to laugh it off and act like, oh, it was no big deal and, and all that. And she was like, "Oh, girl, I knew about y'all's history. Everybody knows about y'all's history." So she acted like it was no big deal for me and him to end up hooking up. I had Mickey at home. Okay. Mickey was at home. He was still working offshore in those days, but he was onshore at this particular time. So Kimberly says, "Why don't you and Bob come with me?" Like her and Candy, they just like, they laughed it off, I guess. Candy was probably highly entertained by the whole thing because, free entertainment for her, right? So we left the roundup. Kimberly talked me and Bob into going with her back to her apartment. She was living with my other good friend, Lisa Bowman, okay, who I've talked about on here before. Kimberly was staying with Lisa. So we went over to, not that Lisa, not Lisa Jackson, Lisa Bowman. There's two Lisas, okay? So we go over to Lisa Bowman's house with Kimberly. And Kimberly she washes all of her makeup off and gets comfortable, and all of that, right? So Kimberly comes out and she's like, "Let's get high, y'all. Let's get stoned and let's just laugh and, let's have a good time." I'm cool with it. Like, there's no hard feelings here. And she looked at Bob. She's like, "Listen, you don't have to worry about my feelings. I'm okay." So we thought, okay, well, you're being awfully good about this. We smoked weed. We're sitting there smoking weed and we're smoking weed and we're smoking weed and we smoked too much weed because Kimberly started crossing over. She had been drinking on top of the marijuana and she started crossing over. Yeah, she started crossing over real bad. She thought I was Lisa Jackson. She thought I was Bob's wife, Lisa Jackson. I was not. So she starts getting angry and she's like, "Fuck you, Lisa. Fuck you. I hate you anyway, bitch." And all this shit. And I'm like, "Girl, are you sure you know who you're cussing out right now?" Like me and Bob were like, "Girl, are you okay?" We actually, as weird as this is, Bob and I put her to bed. We tucked her in for the night. She had crossed over. She was so fucked up. She didn't even know what time it was, honey. So we put her to bed. And he and I left. We left, and I still had Mickey at home in those days, y'all. What was I going to do with them? I didn't know what to do. I didn't know what to do. All I knew was I was helpless to the man. I was utterly helpless to him. And so I told him, I said, listen, I've got to go home. I said, but I'll drop you off at your place tonight, you know? And he said, Jamie, I really don't want to let you go. And I said, Bob, I've got to go home. Like, you're not my old man now. Like, I've got to go home. And I'm driving him to his place. And he reaches over and he pulls my skirt up and starts going down on me. Yes, while we're driving down the damn street in the middle of the night, he starts blowing me. And if y'all want to know what happened next, y'all know the routine. Y'all be here next time, and I will too. I love you all. I love you all for watching, and I love you for the comments. I'll talk to you later. Bye bye.